And why did I build walls here then? Well, that's because now the only entrance down into the water that I'm going to fill will be from this side as soon as I open it up. And the only way up, the only way into my fort from this water section here will be through the wells here. And I'm probably not going to fill the whole section up all the way here, which means even if they somehow get into the water section here, they won't be able to get into my fort from that way. And in order to get into this section here, where I want to build a floor hatch, I need to build a downward stairway here. Or perhaps I can build a channel. It works just as well. And as you can see here, some more migrants have arrived, which I'm going to check on to see if any of them are vampires and what skills they have and whatnot. Since I've already shown how you shown you how to do that, I won't have to record that. What I need to show you now is that many of the dwarves that I got in this last wave, I got 23 of them. Many of them have some fighting skills. None of the fighting skills are really high, but still this means that I can do a pretty good military out of them. Well, not pretty good. Good military, I would have a much higher skill than 1, but at least it will be better than what I had before, when most of them had actually 0. And as I can see here, I get some hammer dwarves and some axe dwarves. Another thing worth showing is that 2 of the dwarves have very high conversational skills, which means they could be vampires. I haven't really looked into them much more, but I think I want to write down their names so I know exactly which ones to look for later. Another skill worth looking after is if they got any weaponsmithing or armor smithing skills. And I got one here that has 2 in weaponsmithing, which is kinda low but still better than what I had before. Why do you want high skills in this? Well, it's because as you get higher skill in the weapon and armor smithing, they make better weapons and armor, of course, and these better weapons and armor can be several times giving several times better defense and also doing several times more damage if they are of the high enough skill. In the beginning you're very unlikely to get a dwarf with high skill in it. You can of course start with one, but but you can also hope to get one like I did. Something else that you can look at is that this dwarf is 115 years old, which means that the dwarves still have quite some time left to live, but I think the dwarves can get between 115 and 117 years old. I've only gotten 2 dwarves actually dying of old age. But sometimes you get dwarves that are really old in the beginning, and then you can actually get a text here somewhere that says that it's the first one of its kind, or among the first one of its kind, if you have a really early fort, which means you got one of the first dwarves that ever existed in the game, which I think is kinda cool, or in the world. you're playing in. While I was checking out all the dwarves, I got this announcement, and this means that the dwarf actually got a mood, a strange mood, which means that he will soon try to make an artifact. And if you go into Dwarf Fortress wiki, you can see which kind of strange mood he has. And as I check on the website, it's a secretive mode, which means that the dwarf will probably not show me exactly what he need if he does need something that I doesn't have. He will probably try to sketch it with his hands. And since he's a farmer, I'm not exactly sure what he will try to do. What's even more amusing is that he is actually one of the migrants that I just arrived, which means I'm not completely sure what he'll do. Probably take a crafts dwarves workshop, because it seems that most dwarves that doesn't have a high skill that they create with, such as well, let's see, metal crafting or armoring or clothes making or anything like that, seem to go to the crafts dwarves workshop. But we'll just have to see. This is one of the dwarves that I suspected was a vampire. I'm not sure as I look into his history or information about him here, because he doesn't have any of the other signs. However, it's really hard to tell until actually a dwarf has been killed that you got the dwarf vampire inside your fort, unless it says, for example, he has the appearance of someone being X years old here. As I was looking into my the well I was supposed to build, I noticed that the water under the bridge will probably lead into the well. I don't think this will be a problem, but if it is, I can just destroy the bridge by pressing Q, and then when hovering over it, pressing X, and then build another bridge. We'll see what happens. And also I need to build all the new workshops for the new dwarfs, which I might go into later if it's needed. Since I was going to make some of my new dwarves into miners, I needed more picks, but I remember that I had traded some of the new stuff for picks, and also one of the Branga pick, I think. You look at your weapons and stuff into we're going to status, pressing Z, and then stocks, and then on the list here you can see weapons here. And since I got a good bookkeeper, I can see an exact list of what stuff I got here. And as I can see here, I got 2 copper picks, a bronze pick, and a bismuth bronze pick, which all are could be used for digging. The next thing I'm going to do is start building weapons and then armor for my military, which I will create probably in the next wave, because I don't have any weapons or armor or anything. And to do that, I go on the Metalsmith Forge, I press A for new task, and then weapons and ammunition, and then I choose which material to use, and I choose iron because I only got iron, and then I build battle axes because this is the weapon I prefer. Then I go into the armor and I'm going to build shields.